Show me a job worse than order selecting. Imagine you was at the gym lifting weights and doing cardio all day. Let me tell you about the worst job I ever had. Keep in mind, I was bringing home damn near $1,000 every week, right? I think the biggest check I ever got from this job was like 1,700 with some overtime shit, you know what I mean? But I was making like decent money, whatever. I didn't know where the fuck my money was going, but it was decent, right? This shit right here, oh fuck no. Let me show you something, right? You gotta be walking, you gotta be driving around in your little pallet jack, hop on it. Oh yeah, I'm on my pallet jack driving around. Imagine you're in a 0-degree freezer too, by the way. Freezer. 50-pound boxes. You gotta take your little 50-pound box up and go like these. You lifting a 50-pound box over your head for 10 hours in a freezer, bro. And this freezer ain't no joke, bro. Like, this shit is not no joke. I look at the back of my heels. I got frostbite on the back of my heels. Some dude got frostbite on his thumb, almost lost his thumb. And these pallet jacks, unsafe. Like, I'm talking about you riding on your pallet jack and there's a puddle. You hitting one of those. And if you're not quick with it, you getting ran over. People foot be getting crushed, like, and they act like this shit is normal. You're not supposed to be able to lift up a 50-pound box for 10 hours all day. You're not supposed to be good at that. Cause it's inhumane. And they be making this shit sound like heaven. You bringing home $1,000 a week to lift 50-pound boxes, you go to the gym anyway. I'm not going to the gym for 10 hours. I'm not doing cardio for 10 hours now, am I?
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 13 of the A&M Podcast. I'm Andre, and he's Mike, aka Left Indy, and we coming to you from the ATP Network. Catch the ATP Network on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and now Kick. So yeah, we on Kick as well, and
Oh, you're
also
on Kick.
too,
Awesome.
yeah, oh yeah, man, like I'm trying to expand our horizons. I'm thinking about getting rid of Twitch because I heard that Twitch don't want you talking about. I mean, don't want you to criticize Israel. So yeah,
Yeah,
Kick
apparently,
might be the
yeah,
replacement.
Hassan will probably be back in some form. I mean, you can't
Yeah,
keep him down. He's rich.
yeah, yeah. So on the bottom of your
So,
screen, guys, follow our official network Twitter account at ATP Network 247 and like the video. It's free and it don't cost you nothing. So, and also subscribe as well. And at the end of the podcast, I got a couple of links to share. So yeah, Mike, what's your thoughts on that the video you just saw?
truth. I know a guy who lost parts of his foot, had to have toes amputated because of frostbite that he got working at McDonald's. They made him go outside to work on the sign outside, and because he's also diabetic too. So
Uh-huh.
that's a so being diabetic and not having good circulation to begin with, and then on top of that, they're making him go out in brutally cold weather. Yeah, you're losing toes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My homeboy, I got a story about that. He was picking furniture from a furniture factory, and they had pallet jacks just like that, and they had to load the furniture that they picked onto those trucks by themselves. And some of that furniture is like 30, 40 pounds a piece, so 50 pounds. So yeah, like, and he didn't get paid $1,000 a week. He got paid $14.75 an hour for doing that back breaking work.
Yeah,
So, so yeah,
yeah. Some stores will pay you decent, others won't.
yeah,
I'm barely able to lift 20 pounds with
yeah,
my spinal problems. So
yeah,
uh, not that I not that I don't lift much heavier than that
yeah,
when I have my good days, but on my bad days, yeah, I'm lucky if I can. Yeah, because I think about spinal injuries and herniated discs and stuff. It's like it's not a constant thing. Only when the nerve
yeah,
clusters get pinched, and
yeah,
so when that happens, I really shouldn't even be lifting 10 pounds, but I push it to 20. Um, so yeah, but when I'm not feeling like I'm 100 years old, then I'm able to lift about 50 pounds at least. But yeah, doing that all day, every day, no, that's not normal.
Yeah, inhumane, like he said. And I could lift 50 pounds, but yeah, like over time, that shit will catch up with your ass. Like,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and just to kind of veer off topic a little bit, but
yeah,
people, when you explain to them about swords, all right, they assume that swords have to be heavy. So when they pick up a replica, even if it's a functioning replica, and they say, "Oh, this can't be real because it's not heavy enough," it's like, oh, okay, I want you to do me a favor, okay? That 2 or 3 pound sword that you say isn't heavy enough, I want you to carry that around all day. You're not allowed to put it down. If you put it down, this bullet goes in you. All right.
shit.
You're not going to be able to lift it for even an hour because if you're carrying around a 3 pound metal sword, an
Yeah,
elongated object all day, and your life depends on not putting it down for even a second, you're not going to be able to do it.
yeah, that's true.
Your
That's
body
true.
has to be trained specifically in order for speed, endurance, uh, and agility. But more emphasis on endurance. That's why when you see medieval tapestries showing medieval knights without their armor, they've got a lot of upper body strength and the lower leg strength, very tiny, wasp waisted, and they're usually on the balls of their feet because they're doing all this fancy footwork. But
Yeah,
that's actually how they train their bodies. It's not artistic
yeah,
license that they actually made themselves look like that, which is why you see those cuirasses with the wasp waists because they really were built like that. Uh, but you're training your body to endure having to carry around all that weight on you all day. So even though they had to find out a lot of creative ways to design swords and armor, so that your body could bear the load for extended periods, but you
yeah,
still had to build yourself to a specific physique that you could do it. Most
yeah,
people today couldn't,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's just carrying around a 2 or 3 pound sword. So
yeah.
if it's that difficult for a modern person to do that, imagine how much more difficult it must be to have to lift 50 pounds over your head all day, every day,
For
for
10
five,
hours.
6, 7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days. Yeah, yeah.
Your
No,
body might get strong in the short term, but long term, yeah.
yeah,
My dad injured his back working the meat department at one of the local grocery chains, and uh, it destroyed his spinal column over time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, unfortunately for my homeboy, he don't work there no more. But yeah, if he kept working there, like he'd probably be, as they say, crippled. Like all that, like furniture, like you gotta put the furniture on those trucks, the trailer on the trailers. I'm like, damn. He
Yeah,
told me how the job was. And I'm saying all you got paid was $15 an hour.
yeah,
Wow, and $1,000 a week ain't shit either. Ain't no,
yeah.
you
And
know.
Liz makes like 17 something an hour, but they cut her hours.
Yeah,
So, and she's got like $1,500 a month rent. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, and then job shorthanded, so she's doing like two departments at the same time,
yeah,
well, simultaneously. But
and you can't do two things at once.
yeah,
Managers will lie to you, try and gaslight you, say, "No, no, you can do that. Here's how." It's like, no, 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 dude, you're not. You're starting a task, then stopping that task to go work on another, and then stopping that to work on yet another, and then you're
yeah,
inefficiently bouncing between like 3 or 4 different tasks.
yeah,
But you're not getting either one done in a timely manner
exactly,
because there's only
exactly.
one of you, not three or
It's
four
not
of you. You can't be in
it.
different places at once.
Yeah, and
So
it can't get done right because you because you constantly rushing.
yeah, and
And it.
the last food service job I had was this place called B Spot over in Crocker Park in Westlake, Ohio, and they're infamous for understaffing their shifts. So I was the guy working both the fry station, the salad station, the milkshake station. I
Oh
also had to
wow.
prep as well. I mean, it's a very high turnover job and very poorly run, which I'm surprised it's even still open if it is. But it's nothing that you can actually do because they expect you to do like 3 or 4 different jobs at once. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Oh no.
Fully staff your shifts. You won't have to worry about customers complaining because things are taking too long.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get one
Yeah.
person working on fries, one person on shakes, one on salad. Okay, if the meal hour rush comes to an end, then you can reassign people as needed or send people home as needed, which they did. But you need to have one person working one station so that
Yep.
you're not bouncing around and overwhelming someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I had this contractor job. I was like cleaning, like going to the different plants, cleaning out the machines and stuff. Like, sometimes we're like just two of us. Like I have to do like 5 things. Like these big ass machines that you have to clean out. And the other guy,
Yeah,
he had to do his work. Like we needed like at least about 4 or 5 other people to do the job, and they only paid us like $10 an hour, Mike. Like,
yeah,
yeah, like
I
man, I worked
believe
some
it.
shitty jobs in my past, man, and now I'm, you know, fortunately I don't have to. But again,
I believe it.
but yeah. Yeah. All
Oy.
right, all right, man. Let's talk about Glenn Greenfield. Oh my,
Yeah, uh, what a scene cannot be unseen.
oh my God.
I had to put my eyes out again for the 100th time in my life because I saw something that I wish I hadn't. So because I
Oh,
had to see it, now you have to. And
oh man.
this thing,
Oh,
Glenn Greenwald in a skirt
oh,
in a net top
what the fuck?
because he decided, okay, I'm going to do a sex video. Oh, this little Nazi boy saying Glenn Greenwald has spent the past 19 months defending Hamas. Well, no, he hasn't. Today it was
Oh,
revealed that Hamas would throw Glenn off a 20-story building. No, they wouldn't. Uh,
oh my God.
because uh, because if you
Oh,
think about it, what do we know about Hamas and Palestinians? They're not nearly as bigoted and against LGBTQIA people as as Israelis are. You can't get
yeah,
married in Israel. Uh,
yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen actually went ahead and went to Israel to do a gag segment, pretending to be an out gay man, like the most flamboyant gay man he thinks he can get away with playing.
Yeah.
And he got the shit beat out of him by an angry mob of homophobic bigots in Israel. I think this was Tel Aviv. And it was one of the few times he ever broke character to say, "Hey, look, no, I'm not actually gay. I'm a TV show personality. I'm just doing a bit." No, they wouldn't have it. He ended up having to take refuge in a public restroom stall, bawling his eyes out like a little bitch
Damn.
because Israelis are that homophobic,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
did this to one of their own.
Yeah.
So
I,
don't give
you
me
know.
this bullshit about how Hamas would throw Glenn Greenwald or any other gay person off a building. No, Israel would do that. Okay, when these fucking goose stepping bitches make these kind of claims, they're projecting. What they're really saying is, you come to Israel, this is what we're going to do to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
I
ironic
bet.
because Greenwald has spent the past 5 years or so going down the turf rabbit hole. He went from rightly calling out J.K. Howling over her whining because she was being criticized over her transphobic tweets. And he rightly pointed out, look, you're a public figure making public statements on a public platform. You know,
Yeah.
you're a big girl now, old enough to take your licks when you start dishing it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started basically sucking up to her and every other turf under the hysteria of LGBT replacement.
Oh
He's
boy.
worried that trans people are trying to replace gay people.
Oh
No, they're
wow.
no, they're
Nah.
not. You know that. Then he went
Come
full
on.
COVIDiot, anti-vaxxer, uh, defending the right of bigots to spew their hatred without any consequence, and calls that free speech.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
dare criticize him or anyone on the extreme right, he'll come after you with all the virulence that he can muster. Same thing with Jonathan Turley. He rightly criticized the Bush Cheney regime for committing crimes, but now he
Yeah.
spends most of his days, bitching about the left.
Who
Well,
who
most
does that sound like?
he has actually criticized Trump when it's been warranted, but he spends most of his time bitching and moaning about the left and how supposedly anti-free speech we are. It's like, dude, I've never met a more whiny bunch of assholes than supposed free speech activists who just their whole shtick is we want to be able to say racist and homophobic and transphobic shit in public
Nazi shit.
and
Yeah.
not have to suffer any social consequences. It's like,
Yeah.
bitch, who the fuck do you think you're fooling?
Sound like that Lily bitch that was on Piers Morgan's show.
Yeah,
Like so she could say the N word. Oh, it's okay to say it, but once you call her out, oh my God, you the worst person in the world. Like, bitch,
yeah.
words have
People have made her a
consequences.
millionaire overnight practically for a legal
Yeah,
defense that, frankly, she doesn't even need because it's not actually illegal to say that in this country.
it's not. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like speaking of Greenwald, at first, like when I first like discovered him, like he was what he worked for the Intercept or something like that.
Yeah, well, I was
Yeah.
following him during the early 2000s, during the lead up to the invasion and occupation of Iraq in
Yeah.
2003. And, in fact, I actually helped him pick the title for his book, Liberty and Justice for Some, how, how power is, how something is used to shield, how the law is used to shield the guilty and protect the powerful. So, uh, I'm pretty sure that was my suggestion that he ended up using. Although I don't think he ever gave me proper credit for it. Not that I was looking for it,
He
but
should have.
I'm just saying this just to give you an idea of how far back I've been following him. And he was really
Right.
good. Even during his time at the Intercept, when he left the Guardian and took the Snowden files with him, which, by the way, he stopped reporting on because I think someone told him, look, stop reporting on this shit because it's going to hurt your career because we want to be able to continue spying on people, and you're kind of putting a damper on this. All right, so
Yeah.
once he started going down the far right rabbit hole, he dropped the Snowden files as any kind of priority. Which I think now is a mistake for Snowden to go to him and Laura Petroius because he might have thought that they would go ahead and uh, report on what he had to show them. Mm-mm. Greenwald
Yeah.
especially is just like, no.
Yeah.
The guy who supposedly is a champion of civil liberties, well, those include the right to privacy. And do we or do we not deserve to have our personal communications and information safe from prying eyes without a warrant?
Exactly. Yeah. 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 When then like fast forward to like when he interviewed AOC, you know, he had some good he asked him some good questions and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I like I like what he was saying. Then all of a sudden, like you said, like when the pandemic started, his rhetoric changed a lot. Then I'm
Yeah,
like,
it did,
this guy's suspect, man.
and I'm pretty sure he got his husband killed through a preventable COVID infection because what we
Right.
know about COVID is that it does royally fuck up the gastrointestinal tract. Uh, so if you're already suffering from a viral infection, uh, which David Miranda apparently had, but you're going through COVID as well, and Greenwald refuses to do any mitigation because no one tells Glenn Greenwald what to do. So he's parroting the lab leak lie that's been discredited for years. Really, since the beginning of the pandemic, because no evidence has ever actually surfaced. And sorry, but not sorry. You're not going to convince me that the same CIA and other government agencies that lie to us about literally everything else can suddenly be trusted to tell us the truth when they claim COVID came from a Chinese or American lab. No, it didn't. I know it
It's
didn't
multiple
because they
articles
say
like
it did.
that. Yeah,
All right.
it's multiple
So
articles like that.
yeah. So the moment he started jumping down that rabbit hole, I knew it wouldn't be long before he was pulling a Milo Yiannopoulos and basically declaring, okay, I'm no longer gay, and my husband is now my manservant, whom I no longer fuck.
Oh well.
But instead, he got his husband killed through probable COVID infection that led to his gastrointestinal system crashing out. So, I can't prove it definitively, but given Greenwald's attitude towards the pandemic, it wouldn't surprise me. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, a little bitch blocked me when I pointed that out, which, it's like, dude, if you're heartless enough to make, and no, seriously, I've got this linked to uh, on my blog, which I will go ahead and show you right now. Uh, so basically, uh, this is going to make you shit your pants, probably. It almost made me shit mine. But so
Oh
this
my
is
God.
from August of 2021. Glenn Greenwald calls for COVID-19 policies that, quote, will kill people, end quote. So Greenwald advocated policies that he acknowledges will kill people, claiming that the public is putting insufficient emphasis on the cost of saving lives. So, this is from his Substack article. So Greenwald is quoted as saying, in virtually every realm of public policy, Americans embrace policies which they know will kill people, sometimes large numbers of people. They do so not because they're psychopaths. Well, I beg to differ, but because they are irrational. Again, I beg to differ. They assess that those deaths that will inevitably result from the policies they support are worth it in exchange for the benefits those policies provide. What benefit is there to letting scores of people, thousands, millions of people die from a preventable viral infection, Glenn?
Glenn
There's
probably
a
one of the hurting many people.
cost-benefit analysis, even when not expressed in such explicit or crude
Yeah.
terms, is foundational to public policy debates, except when it comes to COVID, where it's been bizarrely declared off limits. Gee, I wonder why, Glenn. Could it be because you're making the argument of a fucking psychopath and serial murderer?
Oh my God, man.
Essentially arguing that, oh no, you're not a psychopath if you advocate for killing people through preventable pandemic viruses.
Ugh.
You're making a rational decision of cost benefit. It's like, what the fuck? It's like,
Damn.
what did COVID do to this boy's brain that he could actually make this fucking argument in 2021 after like a million people had already died
Exactly.
at this point, and the government had already by then started dropping all mitigations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this is the kind of shit that Greenwald was pushing, but we're supposed to believe that Greenwald is a good guy on this. No, no, he's not.
No, no. No,
He
no.
really is not. So I absolutely can believe that his callousness and cruelty extended to being so carelessly reckless around his own family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, there's his uh, defense of Rowling. In fact, let me go ahead and share it again because
Oh boy.
this is just too stupid to be believed. So let me go ahead and show you this. Now, this was in 2020, all right? And I'm just waiting for the page to load here. And my computer is being slow because it's installing updates, obviously. Yeah,
Oh
thanks,
yeah.
computer. Impeccable
Why you
timing.
live?
All
Why
right,
you live too?
so this is titled Turf Wars. This is from June 10th, 2020. J.K. Howling says Turf Wars, and then he links to her website. And And Greenwald rightly said, regardless of one's views on the trans turf debate, J.K. Rowling's victimhood complex is suffocating and narcissistic. She's one of the world's richest and most famous people, but views herself as a supreme victim because she endures what all public figures endure, harsh criticism. J.K. Rowling defends Twitter as one of the most bizarre corners of this website I've encountered, which is saying a lot. Wait in at your own peril. Well, he did, and apparently it caused him to join Rowling. Because he yeah. So let me call up some other pages here, which you're going to find rather interesting.
Oh boy. Uh,
Why the ACLU is right and Glenn Greenwald is wrong on schools addressing transgender students. Virginia mandates that public school teachers call students by their preferred pronouns. A civil liberties group defends the law, while the combative journalist says it violates his free speech. This is from October 26, 2021. So this is just over a year and 4 months after he rightly criticized J.K. Rowling for whining about being criticized over her anti-trans bigotry.
why the 180 turn though? He
My
did like,
guess is going down the anti-Biden rabbit hole that Jimmy Doorknob went down.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
so
okay.
this is from August 8th, 2022. What happens to Glenn Greenwald? This is on Salon.com. The former trans ally now sides with right-wing transphobia. Once a defender of trans rights and friend of Chelsea Manning, Greenwald has drifted toward the cultural war right. Basically because there's money to be made in the right-wing grift.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And, so in 2022, Pride Month, June, gave way to an explosion of invective against LGBTQ rights, helped along by allies in right wing media, particularly Fox Noise. But there's also rising anti trans sentiment in the liberal left sphere. Well, I wouldn't call it liberal left if they're espousing bigotry. No, your left card is revoked once you become a bigot.
Exactly.
I'm not at all sorry to say that. No. Um, but it's being driven by some elements of what might be called the post-left, one-time champions of progressive outlets who have now tilted to the right, or as I would call it, the extreme right. Former Intercept writer and Salam columnist Glenn Greenwald is one of those leading the charge, turning his audience to fringe elements of a growing hate movement. It wasn't always like this. Greenwald was once a stalwart defender of trans rights, perhaps in connection with his advocacy for U.S. Army whistleblower Chelsea Manning and his friendship with since assassinated Brazilian politician and activist Marielle Franco. If you want to get a taste for how widespread, warped, and creepy hostility against trans people is, mention Chelsea Manning and survey the bile, Greenwald tweeted on September 10th, 2016. In 2017, Greenwald called Milo Yiannopoulos' notorious appearance on Bill Maher's show the most trans-hating discussion I've seen on television. He referred to Maher's attacks on trans people in general as indicative of a complex of thinking you're brave and subversive for mocking the most marginalized while reliably sycophantic to actual power. Greenwald recognized the extent of anti-trans bigotry and the dangers it posed in the UK. At least as recently as June 2020, that month he celebrated an article at the now shuttered outlet The Outline, wondering why British media had become so transphobic and said Harry Potter author and anti-trans extremist J.K. Rowling's victimhood complex is suffocating and narcissistic. And then, of course, there's a pay-to-read article on the Washington Post that you can read, but it's all linked to in my blog.
Okay.
But now he goes ahead and starts calling you out, lying about you if you dare go against what he has to say. And a lot of this is going to be coming from Taylor Lorenz, whom Greenwald has attacked over her anti-COVID reporting and her exposure of libs of TikTok and all these right-wing grifters. So waiting for the page to load because my computer is trying to install updates. So naturally my computer is painfully slow. But once this loads, we'll go ahead and take a look. All right, so very ironic for Glenn to pretend to care about press freedom these days when he directs targeted abuse towards women, trans people, and anyone else who refuses to cater to the billionaire one percenters whose interests he promotes and protects. This is from December 5th, 2023. Okay, and this again is from December. Greenwald says, remember Threads? Taylor Lorenz says she's being censored there for her brave media criticisms. Her response is, oh, great, the internet's biggest bad faith right-wing influencer has entered the chat. This is the same boy who made up crazy lies about my reporting last year then, when confronted with what I actually wrote, had a meltdown when he was called out on it. Yeah, so, but yeah, this is basically, yeah, so she's been one of the most outspoken critics of Meta's censorship policies. So, here she is defending her position here. And then here on another post, watch my full debunking of Glenn Greenwald's bizarre life-out rant about me here. And then, of course, again, links to YouTube. And then another one, people like Glenn Greenwald don't give a fuck about censorship. Look how he mocks Meta's censorship of herself and other journalists. He's happy to line his pockets with money from the exact billionaires censoring the voices of millions of Americans and calls them spineless. And of course, he's trying to defend himself. But, when you're likening pro-Palestinian anti-genocide protesters to anti-trans zealots who are literally calling for the genocide of trans people through the supportive laws that basically outlaw their very existence. Yeah, Glenn, you're not doing yourself any favors, okay? So, with all due respect, again, Scahill is defending Greenwald and saying he's always vocally maintained a robust defense of free speech. And she says, with all due respect, no, he is not. He continually boosts and backs Silicon Valley billionaires' crusades to censor speech. He's not principled on this issue at all. It's infuriating for those of us who actually care about protecting free speech. And then finally, Glenn just said last month that this was posted back in January. So basically, referring back to their little spat in December, Glenn just said last month that censorship from Meta was not real. So which is it, Glenn? Is censorship real or is it not? Or does it only matter when it's the extreme right wing supposedly being silenced, even though it's not?
Exactly.
But he has nothing really to say when the left gets censored. Or at the very least, leftists he doesn't like getting censored.
Yeah. Particularly
Someone
leftists like us.
Jimmy Doorknob, who LARP says is a leftist,
Yeah.
then he'll defend his free speech rights.
Oh yeah.
But this is the same guy who debated Brianna Joy Gray on her own podcast on YouTube, defending Daniel Penny.
Yeah.
The guy who murdered a black homeless man, Jordan Neely, for having a meltdown on the New York subway. Wasn't actually hurting anyone by the admission of people who actually witnessed it. Wasn't actually hurting anyone, just getting up in people's faces and yelling, which, to be fair, is rather frightening. But nothing that I haven't experienced myself on the bus rides here in Cleveland. So imagine if you're in New York, that's got to be an even more of a daily occurrence. So
Yes.
but Daniel Penny kept this guy in a chokehold for 15 minutes until he died. It only takes a few minutes for death to set in when you cut off someone's oxygen. So he held this guy in a chokehold for far longer than was actually necessary to render him unconscious. But Penny made sure he never woke up. But no, he didn't intend to murder Jordan Neely. He was defending people on the subway against an unarmed homeless black man who was having a mental meltdown because he had witnessed his mother being murdered by his stepfather, who proceeded to lock him in a closet.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that affected him for the rest of his days.
Yeah.
And Greenwald is defending the likes of Kyle Rittenhouse, calling him a self-defense and not the two-time murderer he is.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that Glenn Greenwald is a defender of free speech and civil liberties? No, only when it suits him.
Yeah, when it suits him. Yeah, yeah,
Now, having said all of this, despite my utter bafflement that everyone from Brianna Joy Gray to Richard Medhurst to Margaret Kimberly, people I all respect, right? All of them people I respect
same here.
and admire. People at RBN, I respect and admire them. Criticisms of some of them aside, I do admire and respect them. They're out there, fighting the good fight. Rome especially, he is out there putting his money where his mouth is and putting his ass on the line, doing mutual aid and building libraries and delivering food and water to people.
Yeah, diaper drives and everything. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, I admire and respect these guys. I understand why Rome would defend Greenwald, because he didn't donate money to his legal defense fund when the authorities wanted to put him in jail for a quarter century on fucked up charges.
Trump, yeah.
But Sabby, Jay Buffont, who is himself gay and has called people out for attacking trans people.
Like Jimmy Doorknob.
Or Glenn, right. And he's saying we support Glenn Greenwald. Why? What has he ever done to deserve your support? Besides being highly inconsistent in his reporting
It's disappointing, man.
and in his stated principles.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who will literally sacrifice your life if he thinks it'll benefit him and his convenience. A guy who will literally lie about you and attack you if you dare criticize him and block you like a little bitch because he can't handle the truth.
Wow.
Now, having said all of that, just now, okay? Just so you know where I stand on Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah, right.
Right? You've just listened to me for the better part of 40 minutes talk about this.
Yeah.
About how much I dislike and disrespect Glenn Greenwald. And why. After saying all of that, that doesn't mean that I cannot and will not condemn rightly the way he's being treated by the extreme right wing that he's embraced, who is now giving him the same treatment that it gave to Milo Yiannopoulos, whom he once rightly criticized. Because if you remember Milo Yiannopoulos, the out gay fascist,
Yeah.
Screaming Queen,
Yeah.
loved to boast about how when he was a minor, like 17, how he got it on with older guys.
Yeah.
Got screamed at by the extreme right when he did that, and also he went ahead and went back in the proverbial closet and decided, oh yeah, I'm no longer gay. Oh, and my partner, who I've been living with for these years, I'm turning him into my manservant now. He's no longer my spouse or my boyfriend or whatever. He's now my servant.
That's crazy.
Okay? Because the thing about the left, okay, for all we're told that the left eats its own, we really don't. Okay, holding each other accountable is what we're supposed to do. Yeah. All right, but when we criticize other leftists or liberals, we are criticizing specific actions and words spoken and carried out by these people that we find to be repugnant. When the extreme right eats its own, it's over who that person is, over what that person is. In this case, a gay man, for being gay. And you can't tell me that these right-wing assholes who are now dragging Greenwald over the coals and leaking his sex videos, which, by the way, if you don't think that Peter Thiel, whom he's been sucking up to for the last 5 or so years, didn't have a hand in this because of his criticism of Israel. Because what do we know about the NSA? It spies on all of us.
Yeah.
DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which is anything about government efficiency. It's about anything other than that. Well, they got access to a lot of people's personal data, and they probably raided the NSA, CIA, and FBI, and God only knows what other agencies have been spying on Americans for decades to dig up all sorts of dirt. So it wouldn't surprise me that someone decided, okay, Glenn, you're getting a little bit too uppity with regards to criticizing Israel, so we're going to release this sex tape so that the MAGA people you've been sucking up to finally realize and pull their heads out of their asses and realize, oh wait, this guy's gay, we're supposed to hate him.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
So
That's fact.
that
Yeah.
is why they're attacking him, not because of anything that he's saying or doing with regards to his attacks on trans people or his attacks on uh, people who take COVID seriously, because they thought he was one of theirs when he started attacking trans people.
Yeah.
And finding out now that he's gay, the very thing that they despise, now they're turning on him.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
by design.
Yeah.
And it is disgusting. But this is what the extreme right wing does. This is what Glenn Greenwald got in bed with. Knowingly, eyes wide open.
Hey, he sold his soul.
Yeah.
Mike, he sold his soul. Hey, there
Yeah,
was
a lot of grifters
consequences.
sold their souls to pander to Red MAGA. You know, I mean, not
Consequences.
that the Young Turks and their network pandering to Blue MAGA were any better,
Exactly. Yeah,
but at
true.
least we know uh, where they are and where they've been for decades because they never hid being Blue MAGA.
Yeah.
But Doorknob, Green Pilled, Blue Menthol,
Oh my.
COVID Couch, Nico Mouse, Kim Lyerson,
Nico Mouse.
they all presented themselves as being leftists or liberals, you know, defenders of free speech and you know, purveyors of truth. But
Yeah.
no, they were just red MAGA pandering bitches. You know, they were lying to us just as TYT was lying to us.
Yeah.
Because
They
at
ain't
the
no
end
better than TYT.
because they're just all pandering to different flavors of MAGA.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what they're pandering to.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
pander to MAGA, you damn well better be pristine in their eyes 100% all the time. Because
Then I have no sex tapes.
the moment you step out of line,
Yeah.
they're going to drag up literally anything and everything about you
Oh yeah.
and destroy you.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
that's what they're
doorknob
trying to
better
do to
watch
Glenn
out.
Greenwald right now.
Yeah. Hey, doorknob better watch out. Hey, you might have some kind of skeletons in the closet next.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
he's got his head so far up RFK Jr.'s ass that I don't think he's going to be in any trouble with the extreme right for a while.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
unlike Greenwald, he's not openly gay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's true.
And he's
Yeah.
so, you know, he's pretty reliably anti-trans, anti-black, uh, anti-free speech when the left does it, but pro-free speech when the right does it.
Exactly.
You know,
But
and
with
also pro-COVID, so
yeah.
like and anti-vax. You know, he's reliable on that shit, which is all
Yeah.
that matters to Red MAGA.
Yeah. That's one thing I hate about these motherfuckers too, Mike. The live and let live shit kills so many fucking people, and these motherfuckers still denying the fact that COVID fucks up your brain and does other fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's just so
yeah.
fucking
I
aggravating,
know
man.
people who are seeing changes in their relatives who are developing signs of schizophrenia
Yeah,
after COVID infections, even if and you know the majority of infections are asymptomatic, so you know you don't even have to have COVID symptoms to be infected and have it damage your brain. So we're
exactly,
seeing, you know, increases in people getting diabetes related to COVID, brain damage, early onset dementia, schizophrenia, and other disorders linked to damage to the frontal lobe. Uh, you know, just all sorts of shit. And uh, COVID, I think, just exacerbates stuff that was already starting to be a trend on elements of the fake left, because that's
yeah,
what they are, the fake left. They're not really on the
yeah.
left, never really were.
They never
But
was
they made their money in the late 2010s, pretended to be against Trump when it was fashionable, And then 2020 comes along, the pandemic hits, and then it's uh, monetarily beneficial for them to go full Trumper.
Right. Yeah.
And even now, their criticism of Trump, if there's any at all, is only half-hearted because they know once they alienate red MAGA, blue MAGA is not going to take them back. So they have to remain committed to the bit. So
Yeah.
they fuck themselves over with the left because now we won't trust them
Yeah.
because we see them for the unprincipled grifters they are.
Yeah.
And they dare not offend the extreme right unless they end up like Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, but Mike though, like we knew that Glenn Greenwald was gay for a long time,
Yeah, I've known for
but
something like 20 years that he was gay. I mean,
yeah, I knew it back in
he's never made any secret about it.
I knew it back in like in 2018, 2017. Like, but now they acting like it's a big old controversial, like the right. I mean, making it like a big controversial,
Right, well, he
like
spent the
it's
last
new.
5 years attacking trans people, so and
Yeah,
inheriting,
that makes sense.
great replacement theory for LGBT people.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think until this week, people either weren't aware or decided they didn't want to be aware.
yeah,
But now because he's been uh, vehemently defending pro-Palestinian activists, which any human being should. Don't get me wrong, okay? I will give credit where it's due and say that Greenwald has, yes, at least appeared to defend Palestinian protesters, pro-Palestinian protests and protesters, and criticize
yeah,
Israel for its treatment. And being that he's Jewish,
yeah,
on top of being gay, again, credit where it's due, because to be Jewish and criticize Israel, they hate you more than any Gentile who criticizes Israel because they see you as a traitor to your own. All right,
yeah,
but to also be gay on top of that, yeah, that takes guts to defend pro-Palestinian protests and protesters and criticize the terrorist, genocidal apartheid state of Israel.
yeah,
It takes courage to do that, especially in this
yeah,
environment in
yeah,
politics.
yeah,
We'll give Greenwald credit for that,
yeah,
but he has made his bed, and now he's going to have to lie in it. And
yeah,
I, for one, will continue to condemn this act against him because it's
yeah.
great.
It's not cool.
Because,
Yeah,
it's disgusting
yeah,
to attack him for
yeah,
being gay,
yeah. It's fucked up, man. Like, yeah, that's homophobic shit.
but that doesn't mean that
What
I
he
have to
doing?
support him, though.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
think and this is also what had me defending Keffel's, right up until she started spewing her anti-Palestinian bullshit and anti-China nonsense, and why I defended Jimmy Dore when warranted, because even though I don't personally like these people, I think their politics are repugnant. Keffel's obviously is blue MAGA, Jimmy's red MAGA, but they're both
right.
still MAGA. So I will defend them when it's warranted and point out, yeah, Anna Kasparian was bullshitting when she claimed that Dore sexually harassed her.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
defend Jimmy too.
he kind of got on top of that, pointing out, that he had called her out on wearing revealing clothing in front of her interns who had no choice but to look because, she was their boss, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
It's one of those acts of sexual harassment carried out by a woman against her students that Doorknob rightly called her out on, and then she tried to turn it around and use it to blackmail Dore into shutting up. Yeah, I defended him against Kyle Kalinske.
I did too. Yeah, yeah. Like, man, at
Unfortunately,
one point,
but that doesn't mean that
yeah,
I'm not going to call Dore out on his bullshit when he pulls it.
yeah,
And it's the same thing with Greenpill or Greenwald, with two L's and an E, um, because you can actually take a principled stand, but also acknowledge that there is nuance.
Exactly. Exactly.
And as much as I don't like Greenwald anymore and think he's an asshole, what they're doing to him is perverted, and it's sick
Yeah.
and pathetic. But
Exactly.
that doesn't mean that we should suck up to Greenwald just to try and own the right wingers. That's just
Right.
going too far in the opposite direction.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, like I'm gonna say this, you, my who said it? My aunt said one time, like you ain't gotta like somebody to like acknowledge like what you know. What I mean, like if they getting like done in wrong or something like that. I
Yeah.
forgot the exact framing, but you get what I'm saying. Um, yeah, man. One last like topic. This won't be long. Then we can end this. Um, man, RFK on that bullshit like with the COVID
Oh God,
recommendations, man. Oh my god.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh man.
We are cooked. If H5N1 goes human to human transmission, we're fucked.
Oh
Say
my
goodbye to
god.
the human species.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, I think this is the end of the I really don't believe in this shit, but I think the end of the world is inevitable, man.
Yeah, yeah.
God,
COVID
it's got to
made
be
H5N1 more of a thing than it otherwise would have been.
right.
The brain dead Biden regime doubled down on Trump's COVID denialism, but also because it had adopted that policy, it took the same level of ignoring the crisis when H5N1 started becoming a pandemic. Because it's
Yeah.
already a pandemic among birds and livestock, which is why egg prices are going up. Because we
Yeah.
decided, oh yeah,
Still
we're not
high.
going to do a damn thing to protect our livestock from preventable viral infections. So, uh, herds and flocks have to be culled in order to protect the remaining animals.
Yeah.
And they're still not doing anything to prevent transmission, which is the only way you're really going to protect them. So they're just culling livestock, the livestock that we rely on for food.
Yeah.
They're culling livestock to prevent them from dying, only to let them die from viral infection that they refuse to mitigate.
Yeah.
And as a result, prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah. Eggs is fucking $8, $9 for a
We're,
dozen.
we're having to import eggs from other countries now
Yeah. Yeah. I
in order
noticed.
to
I
meet
seen that.
demand because we don't have the capacity anymore to produce our own eggs
Yeah.
because our flocks have been wiped out.
Yeah.
And they can't recover as long as we refuse to stop H5N1 from spreading. And now Kennedy, piece of shit he is saying, no, 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 we're going to deny Moderna uh, the approval to develop the H5N1 vaccine.
Oh my
We don't want people
gosh.
getting protected against preventable viral infections that are known to cause death in 60% or nearly 60% of the infected. That's not
Oh.
16, 1, 6. No, that is nearly 60%. That is greater than half.
Holy shit.
And that's
Man.
happening in birds. If this thing leads to human transmission,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
60% of the population gone.
Like America will be dead. You know that, right? No, no
And the
civilization.
remaining 40% will be too brain damaged from COVID to even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. And my guesstimation is with COVID is I believe that half of the population is probably brain dead anyway. Cause I could just
Well,
tell
it
like
was kind of that way before the pandemic, but
yeah
it's just
it's true,
exacerbated everything.
yeah, yeah,
But that's
exactly,
why you're
yeah,
seeing instances of car accidents skyrocket, plane
yeah,
crashes, because if you've got brain damage and you're zoning out while you're on the road or in the air,
yeah,
or literally dropping unconscious.
yeah. Because I was out of town and I was on the interstate going 70 miles an hour and somebody just randomly stopped in the middle of the highway in front of me.
Yeah,
So yeah, I said, yeah, this person must be brain dead from COVID or
yeah.
something.
Well, I'm lucky. I went to the Philippines when I did last year before Trump got into office and started firing all the competent pilots,
Oh yeah,
just so that the reverse DEI hires, the mediocre white boys who flunked out of pilot school could get
oh my
hired.
god,
But you're
oh boy,
firing all the black pilots,
yeah,
the ones who overwhelmingly passed their flight exams because they actually paid attention and
yeah,
didn't think that it could go by simply on being white.
yeah,
Those are the
yeah,
ones you get rid of. And then of course the air traffic controllers, they're leaving air traffic control towers understaffed, partly because of the pandemic, but also because of ideological policies mandating budget cuts, so that the air traffic controllers don't have any backup if they have to leave to go use a toilet
yeah,
or take lunch or whatever. And there's no one up in the tower directing air traffic.
yeah.
But then you
Like
wonder why planes are crashing.
yeah,
It's because pilots are
like
flying blind and having to engage in emergency cross communication just to try and coordinate so that they don't collide in
yeah,
midair.
yeah. And I heard somebody said that no, this I
Go
guess
get
she's
work,
a
saving you money.
yeah.
Not really, because of the big beautiful bill that is making its way through Congress and
uh
Trump is expected to sign actually increases the deficit by $2 trillion, up from
yeah,
the 35 or 37 trillion it already is, or however much. I know it's over 30 trillion, so don't quote me exactly. Look it up, see how much it already is, but it's adding another 2 trillion on top of that. So all the
yeah,
cuts that they're making to Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, TANF, libraries, schools, hospitals, uh, scientists, NASA, uh, National Weather Service, all this shit that only makes up a tiny fraction of the
yeah,
federal budget,
yeah,
but you're increasing the military budget and the surveillance budget to cover tax breaks for the wealthy. So you're making up for it with tariffs that put the tax burden on the consumer, you and
yeah,
me, who don't
yeah,
make any money,
yeah,
because God forbid
yeah,
you can actually charge Elon Muskrat taxes,
yeah,
make him pay his fair share like any grown up would.
yeah, yeah.
But that drug fueled bitch is getting sympathy from I don't know who, but uh, I think it was Tweets and Boobs. It was this account I follow. She basically posts thirst traps and lusts after Hassan Piker as her bit. But she was like, imagine how much pain someone must have internally, or worse to that effect, to take these drugs, including anesthetics, just to be able to function. Referring, I presume, to Elon Muskrat and the revelations that he's been doing enough drugs to kill a small horse while on the campaign trail and also while running Doge. And I'm like, no, no, no. It's not because Muskrat is feeling any pain. Muskrat does not feel pain. He causes pain
Yes, causes pain,
for
exactly.
shits and giggles. No, the reason he is so drugged up has nothing to do with him having any internal pain. The reason he's so drugged up is because he thinks he's still 25 years old and able to pull all-nighters and go 24/7 without any sleep for a whole week. And he's in his 50s. He can't do that shit anymore.
Nah,
So he's taking stimulants and depressants to combat the stimulants so that he can keep going.
yeah,
Because he's a fucking idiot on top of being a fascist and doesn't want to admit that he's not 25 years old anymore. He can't do half the shit that he used to be able to do because
man,
guess what?
like
Get older, and you're not going to stop it by draining the blood out of your body and pumping in the blood of 12-year-old virgins or whatever the fuck or fuck
what the
they're
fuck?
doing now. Like with that one anti-aging guy who apparently has time to measure his son's erections at night and get blood transfusions from said son to keep
Oh my
himself from
God.
aging.
Oh my.
Yeah, Brian, whatever his name is, but he's saying like, oh, my lungs have aged 20 years because of COVID. Well, have you thought about not getting COVID, Brian?
Avoiding COVID? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's
oh no,
okay.
can't do that. No, I'm just gonna
Live and let live.
inject blood from my son, and just to be sure that he's not wasting it thinking about sex, I have to monitor his erections nightly.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of mentality that billionaires have in their
These people are
dried up
fucking
blackened lump of shit that passes for their
psychopaths, man.
brains.
Being there's a fucking psychopath, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. What the
I know. I
fuck?
mean, it's like, not that I wouldn't want to win the lottery, because I do
Yeah.
want to be able to retire and support my family, uh,
Yeah.
but
Me too.
I don't ever want to have so much money that I lose my humanity.
Yeah. 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 Like if I win the lottery, I'm gonna just give it away anyway. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. Like when these motherfuckers make so much money, is they just fucking like they go rogue and shit, man. They just do weird, stupid, crazy shit. And make our lives a living hell. So
Yeah, I mean, if I ever do win the lottery, I wouldn't say it, but there would be signs
okay.
like suddenly a better camera and an actual studio instead of the
Yeah.
screen masking the back of my bedroom or anything like that. Uh, but or quite possibly, doing live streams from Manila or Dumaguete, or
Yeah. Yeah.
but but yeah. Other than that, probably wouldn't know. Uh, unless I'm using a gold-plated safety razor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I do have
Uh,
one, but it didn't cost all that much because it's a Mercure, which is yeah. If you ever get into safety razors, they're wonderful for reducing razor bumps because with the multi-blade cartridges, uh, you're basically the way those are designed is that it's designed to pull the hairs up, cut them, and then drop the follicle back under the skin. Well, the problem with that, obviously, is that the hair follicle, when it starts growing again, often grows underneath the skin, which is why you get those razor bumps. And black people are more susceptible because the their hairs are curly. All right,
yeah.
so they're not
Yeah. Like
necessarily
mine.
going in a
Yeah.
straight line like on a white guy, and even white people get razor bumps now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So Pete Hegseth is cracking down on razor bumps on black military personnel, trying to find excuses to drum them out of the military. And this
Wow.
was actually a thing.
Oh my God.
So
This is wild.
yeah, racist Pete Hegseth, who wants to purge the military of all non-white people, uh, basically announced this policy that they would no longer be issuing waivers to black personnel with regards to razor bumps. Now, one of the problems here, besides the obvious racist aspect, is that the military forbids servicemen, especially in basic military training, but generally speaking, forbids them from using safety razors or straight razors because of the risk that they might use them as weapons to harm others or themselves, especially during
Right.
military training, because that involves breaking you mentally in order to build you back up into a psychopathic killing machine.
That's true.
And so in basic military, and I know this from firsthand experience because I enlisted in the Air Force in 2001, my mistake. But at that time, I was still using a shavette, which is a straight razor with a removable blade, but I was still using that to shave. And afterward, that got confiscated in uh, boot camp, so I had to use the Mach 3 razors, which I used to use that for another like 12 or 13 years, or how, no, 15 or 16 years. I'm sorry. I was using those for 15 or 16 years until I finally got sick of paying for cartridge replacements, which were running like 25, $30 a package.
Yeah, they're ridiculous, man.
So, or it can go as high as 50 now. Uh, so I got sick of that, and I picked up a safety razor from Target, and I've been hooked on those ever since. So I've been using that to avoid razor bumps. It doesn't mean I don't get the occasional nick, uh, but but that comes with the territory. But
Yeah,
uh, but safety razors are awesome, and the second razor I got was a Mercury 34 heavy duty, and someone got me the gold plated version as a birthday present some years ago. So so that's nice. I use that every now and then on holidays because soap scum can erode the gold plating on a razor. Same thing if it's silver plated too. Chrome, no problem. I mean, it will wear off eventually, but it's a lot more durable than like gold or silver plating. Um,
yeah,
and then if you get like a 316L stainless steel razor, that is so corrosion resistant. Uh, so I recently got the Razor Rock Goat, which is modeled on the Mercury 34. I had to trade for that, but once I got a hold of it, it was like, oh man, it's my new go-to razor.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, guys, be sure to check out Mike's shaving channel. I'm gonna put the link in the description. So
Yeah, I did start my shaving channel. I do try and keep politics out of it. I can't help myself sometimes, and I will
I know.
because because it's like, look, I do like 25, 30 minute video of me shaving. What am I going to talk about?
Yeah, yeah,
I can
ain't
only
nothing
fill
wrong
up
with
so
that.
much time talking
Yeah,
about the soap or the razor or the blade or whatever. So
yeah,
just talk about whatever pops into my head at random.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It'd be like that.
For
Yeah.
instance, I have compiled a recipe to recreate the Jollibee Yum Burger. So all I need to do is when I get my SNAP benefits, uh, when they reload on the 14th, I will be uh, getting as many of the ingredients as I can and trying to recreate the Jollibee Yum Burger because I tried that when I was in the Philippines. It is tasty. I want to
Oh
see if
man.
I can make my own. So I found a copycat recipe,
Okay. Hey,
which
you need.
not really it's not really a copycat recipe because the company guards its blend of herbs and spices quite jealously, justifiably so. Uh,
Yeah.
but so they're trying to approximate the taste of it without actually knowing the specific ingredients or the specific amounts. But if you can recreate that, though, you're in heaven. Because
Yeah.
Jollibee is basically McDonald's and KFC, but better.
Oh man. Oh man.
And it's
I.
been making inroads here in the United States. I can't wait until one comes to Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope one comes to Georgia, where I'm gonna move to next month. So I mean July. So
Wow,
yeah,
you're moving
yeah.
to Georgia. What prompted
My
that?
um my job. I got a new job.
Oh, nice.
A hybrid job for HP, so I could work from home and I could go drive to you know
I'll
to
send you
the.
my resume.
Oh
If you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
forward that over to HR, because I do need a job and I don't mind working remotely. It's like
yeah.
because I keep
The
looking
one.
for jobs, and it's like the ones that are on site. It's like I can't get out to because they're all in like industrial parkways where the buses don't go, or they're
Yeah,
downtown. Like the bus fare alone would kill me. But
yeah,
if I can find a remote or hybrid job, okay, great. But most of the remote stuff, they want you to have some kind of licensing or computer skill that they don't teach you in school, and you can only get by actually getting hired. But they won't hire
yeah.
you until you actually have that skill.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Send me your resume, cause I'm trying to help Liz get a job there too, remotely. So you know,
All
so
right,
yeah,
awesome.
I'm see what I can do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one
She's been
one
having
thing
a lot
I
of
probably.
trouble with getting transferred to a store in Ohio.
Yeah, yeah. She been like Walmart been giving her the runaround, man, for like the last a few weeks.
That's Walmart.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. She thought it would be more seamless, but yeah. But anyway, she wanted to get out of Walmart. Like
Yeah,
she
it's
worked
a
there for
horrible
11.
place to work.
Yeah, she been there for 11 years, and yeah, yeah. If you know, you know. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And one thing I hate while moving to, I'm gonna live in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district.
Oh,
So,
you have my pity.
oh God, yeah, man. That's one thing I hate,
Well,
but
if you find out where she lives, you can you can water her bushes using
yeah.
uh, that your body generates naturally.
Oh my God.
Yes, you make sure you drink plenty of the right fluids and don't get caught.
I'm gonna have my
But
cafe on,
yeah,
you
but
know, disguise myself. Yeah.
yeah,
You
but
know,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure her garden or her front or back lawn can use some new gardening techniques.
oh my God. Yeah, yeah, man. You giving me ideas, man. God.
Yeah, ideas for getting arrested and probably
I
charged with
hope.
terrorism. But
Yeah, I hope she don't have another town hall, man. I hope she don't, but
oh
I'll
man,
be there.
Republicans are getting roasted at those town halls. They've
Yeah,
got, it's gotten to the point where they're now turning into Democrats, afraid to go to town halls for fear of being confronted by upset mobs. There's one idiot who was saying, look, without our Medicaid, we're going to die, and this idiot was like, yeah, well, we're all going to die. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, but not
yeah.
this week if our Medicaid gets cut off. It's like,
Fucking
dude,
idiot.
these assholes are taking their chances on getting torn apart right there on the spot.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you ever seen Dawn of the Dead, the original,
yeah,
where
yeah. I seen
where
the
the bikers run through the mall and the zombies
yeah. Oh yeah,
overwhelm them by sheer numbers and they get torn apart?
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
keep
I seen that. Yeah,
having flashbacks to that, looking at these town halls and wonder how long is it going to be before that scene gets uh, recreated in real life? Because
oh
these
man.
fascist politicians are just saying the quiet parts out loud and not giving a fuck
Oh
and
my
not
God.
realizing just how close they are to getting torn to shreds,
Yeah,
literally on top of metaphorically.
man. I'm telling you. Hey, yeah, man. Like they think J6 was you know was a revolt, which
That
it
can and
wasn't.
will go both ways. It's not just going to be used against the Democrats.
Exactly. Yeah. My point too. Yeah, man. Yeah. I really think, man. I think I'm kind of like flip flop with this, but I think we're getting more close to the revolt phase than I thought because
Well,
like
we'll
this shit
see.
getting
I
real
mean,
every day.
if they didn't overthrow the government when Israel was allowed to commit genocide against the Palestinians with help from our government,
Right.
I don't know what else is going to do it because they're dismantling public health, they're dismantling public education, they're trying to dismantle the post office and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, the post office was actually written into the Constitution as a cabinet level department to coordinate the delivery of the mail.
Yeah.
And it's not even a nonprofit organization, it's a for profit organization. It charges us money to send mail and packages.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
And you
but
remember?
the anti-government zealots don't want any government service, uh, even if it's a for-profit one. But they so despise anything that's related to the government, they don't care.
Yeah, for profit. Ain't for profit their motive? Like you think they'll
Yeah, I
support
mean,
the
look what
post
happened when
office?
they
That's fucked up.
privatized the postal system in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
cut
yeah.
back services. They did away with postal banking, which is the only way that a lot of elderly pensioners were able to cash their checks on the
Yeah.
first month. They
Yeah.
stopped delivering mail to a lot of rural communities because there was no profit in it. So now people have to travel miles to go ahead and pick up their mail,
Yeah.
and they want to do that here in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized that the U.S. Postal Service had used to have a banking system. I just realized that now.
I know Sanders suggested it, but I don't know if they ever actually implemented it.
Yeah.
I know you used to be able to get money orders there, but I don't know.
Yeah. 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 Um. Yeah. So yeah, y'all. I got a few links to share with y'all. Mike, he's still trying to find work. So you could throw him a bone. Help him any type of way. The first link here is his GoFundMe. So far, he's finally moving now, which is good.
Yeah,
Help him surpass his goal, guys. Like Mike needs all the help he can get.
yeah,
Um,
especially now because I'm nearing completion on the first quarter of
yeah,
my TEFL certification course. Then I still have the other three quarters, but I am inching closer, and I'm going to be throwing myself so far into it over the next month or so, so I can complete it.
right.
I could use some help paying my bills because my phone's
Yeah,
paid up through the 26th of next month, but after that, I can't pay my bill.
yeah, yeah, guys.
This
So
thing will be going bye bye.
yeah, and you know, phone is vital, especially
Yeah, especially if
you know,
you're looking for work, people need to be able to get a hold of you.
yeah, and your fiance too.
Yeah,
Contact her and stuff. So yeah, y'all. Anything helps, and also too, he got a um buy me a coffee page too. Let me
yeah,
pull that
because
up.
if you don't want to donate to my GoFundMe, you can either subscribe to my Substack or to my Buy Me a Coffee page. That way, if I can get enough money from those two, then what I can do is I can actually pay for better equipment. I can pay my bills, obviously, but I can pay for better equipment. I can upgrade to get more and better storage
Yeah,
because I'll be able to uh, do recorded videos again instead of relying on just live stuff with a shitty internet connection. I can just upload and hopefully have some better video quality. So
yeah,
yeah, and even if it's a dollar, one-time dollar donation, or if you want to do any of the tier levels, uh,
mm,
that'll unlock exclusive posts and messages for bronze tier. Then, of course, you get more the more you donate. So, uh,
yeah,
yeah, shout
yeah,
outs for new members, stuff like that. So,
yeah.
yeah, if you want to go ahead and do that, then I've also got a merch store. Uh, so
Oh yeah,
even if you don't want to go through GoFundMe or buy me a coffee, I've got a merch store. So you're at least getting something physical in return for your money in the form of T-shirts, hoodies, even carrying bags.
yeah,
So all
yeah,
that'll help me pay my bills and keep a roof over my head, even if I don't put in much, but every little bit counts.
yes, yeah, yeah, guys. So yeah, support Michael. I mean, Mike any way you can. Um, he's the real deal, guys. So yeah. Um, any last words, Mike, before you head out?
Never trust a fart.
Mikey, man, I
Yeah,
like your last words, man. I like.
especially as you get older.
Oh my god,
Just ask,
that's funny.
just ask Joe Biden.
Oh god, yeah, yeah, yeah. Before we go, man, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He and Scott
Biden,
Adams, the Dilbert creator, both have terminal prostate cancer.
yeah, yeah. Man, I made a post about that, man. People saying, how would you feel if your family had cancer and people laugh at them, I'm like, well, my family ain't war criminals, Janet Jackass. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not some rich cartoonist who went full right wing bigot and started
right,
peddling burritos that are overpriced and as a health and wellness scam to try and bilk
is it?
people out of their money because I tanked my cartoonist career being an open bigot. No, so no, I'm not.
Is it
My relatives might not be the best people on the earth. They might be horribly abusive in all too many situations, but they're
yeah,
not Scott Adams evil. They're not Joe Biden evil. They're not Caligula Trump evil. They don't
right,
fuck couches for hobbies like JD Vance. They don't
yeah,
go out of their way to get their relatives killed through preventable viral infections or go on transphobic tirades for months on end.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, we are
yeah,
allowed to laugh at the misfortunes of evil people who bring harm to countless others for no reason.
yeah, yeah, man, yeah,
We do know how
like,
to regulate our celebrations of people's misfortune. Okay, it's only for people who deserve it.
yeah, yeah,
Obviously, you
like,
don't want to make fun of someone who has no power. Okay,
yeah,
so, I mean that's
exactly,
the whole point of offensive humor. That Dave Chappelle forgot that even Mel Brooks, God bless him, forgot complaining about how he can't do offensive humor anymore. Offensive humor is meant to punch up, not down,
yeah,
up or
exactly,
sideways, never down.
yeah,
All right.
exactly,
If the humor offends people who have no power, you're doing it wrong. If it offends people who have all the power or most of the power or who have as much power as you do, that's fine. But don't shit all over people who have no power.
yeah, I agree.
And we're not shitting on people without power. We're shitting on people who have all the power.
Shitting on people who are war criminals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Shit on people who
War
bum.
criminals, bigots,
Yeah,
rich assholes who ruin our lives just for the hell of it because
yeah,
they're bored and don't want to pay their taxes.
yeah.
That's who we're
You know,
shitting on.
yeah,
Nobody cares about their feelings.
yeah,
They don't have any feelings to care about because they're psychopaths. They don't feel emotions the way normal humans do.
yeah, yeah. They bum hospitals in Gaza. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're
Like
pretending to
fuck
be
that. Yeah,
outraged for people who don't even have the emotional ability to be hurt.
yeah,
Because being literal psychopaths, they don't feel human emotions. Look it up.
yeah,
Look up the symptoms.
yeah. Yeah, but I think too. Then we could head out. Like I think people feel like, you know, oh, since Biden has cancer, since Biden has metastatic prostate cancer,
I
we
hope you
should
guys are
all
screaming.
feel fine. Me too. I hope he
But
suffer,
chances are
man.
he'll just
I,
forget that he's breathing and forget to breathe, and that'll be it. Because
yeah,
he's that far gone into his dementia anyway.
yeah, he don't. Yeah,
And I
he's
know
long
this because
gone.
my maternal grandfather had dementia in his final years, and he was also diagnosed with cancer in his lungs uh,
Yeah,
in his last few months of life. And uh, so, yeah, I mean, it's not like I have no experience with someone in my family who had dementia and cancer. But my maternal grandfather, as much of as an abusive, philandering asshole as he was in life, he wasn't a war
yeah,
criminal who bombed the living shit out of brown children half a world away.
hmm yeah, yeah. Like some of my family members are fucking assholes. They always worry about what the fuck I do instead of worrying about what they do. But yeah, like you said, like they don't bum hospitals in Gaza and schools and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
So yeah, just get over yourselves, people. Okay,
yeah,
direct your
like Mike
outrage
said,
where it's needed.
yeah, like Mike said, punch up, not down. You know what I mean? Jesus, everybody's so sensitive, man. But all
Oh
right,
well,
Mike, man.
no, careful. We'll be accused of being anti-woke
Oh my.
by people
Oh,
who are not actually
here we
woke,
go.
who only pretend to be. But hey,
Yeah, they say Hollywood's woke, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all.
There's real woke and then there's Hollywood woke. If you're Hollywood woke, you're not actually woke. You just pretend to be. So you can
Exactly.
score points with people that you go out of your way to shit on anyway. Uh,
Exactly.
and then the anti-woke crusaders will pile on,
Yeah.
bitch about the mere presence of minorities in media,
Yeah.
and it completely ignore how those minorities are depicted.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
next time I want to talk about Lilo and Stitch.
Oh wow.
Because
Yeah.
I've seen the original, the 2D animated one. And I'm
Yeah.
hearing the criticisms from, including Hawaiians, who hate this movie with a passion.
Oh boy. And
And for
also
good
too,
reason.
the next episode, let's talk about the Mission Impossible movie because I'm supposed to see it tomorrow.
I lost interest after seeing the second movie.
Oh my. Yeah.
The first one was okay, directed by
Yeah.
Brian
First one's
Singer,
good. Yeah.
but the second one was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Third one I had
Yeah.
no interest in, and I haven't bothered watching. But oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah.
Cruiser
Oh
is
boy.
in the news for all the wrong reasons.
My God. I'm telling you, man, it's wild. It's wild in Hollywood, man. I'm telling you.
No, you don't
All
know
right.
what's happening, man. Just ask Corey Feldman.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right, Mike. Man, I'm glad we back doing this again.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
Yeah, man. Man, to be honest with you, man, I just been out of it. Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't done much like content this week anyway on the network.
Yeah,
So
it's been a rough ride on everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even Muskrat has been having problems because he's being shoved out the door, complaining about how the budget actually increases the deficit. He was trying to cut it. It's like, boy, who do you think you're fooling? Okay, you were told to get out because you're a drug-addled bitch who gets on everyone else's nerves.
yeah, yeah. I heard he be
Let's
at
face it, when
meetings
you let
like
your
starting fights with
4-year-old
everybody.
tell the president of the United States that he's not the president and then he needs to go, come on, you were never going to last in there.
Yeah, I think
Even
that was
Trump
the
has
straw
a
that broke
little
the
bit
camera.
of pride.
Yeah, that the straw that broke the camera back right there. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, Muskrat forgot that Trump doesn't value people for having the same agenda as him. He values personal loyalty. And if you demonstrate that you're just using him, he will dump you like uh, bad gonorrhea.
Yeah,
Because now there's a vaccine for gonorrhea. So I'm sure Trump is going to be happy about that because that means he can start sleeping around again with porn stars.
man, man, Mike, man, you gonna get me in trouble, man. Okay, okay. It's funny, Mike. Oh my God. Okay, okay.
Uh,
I'm about to say something, but I don't think it's
yeah,
YouTube friendly.
we
So,
better end this before I get us completely wiped off of YouTube.
all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching the A&M podcast, man. Like, man, be sure to help Mike with his buy me a coffee and his GoFundMe. The links in the description below, and also help Liz. She's still trying to raise a little few more dollars for her
And don't forget to help
campaign.
Andre too. He's the one putting all this together.
Oh nah, you can help me by liking and subscribing. You know,
All right,
hey,
I will be doing much more of that. I've been
yeah, I seen that.
I have a lot of trouble getting past YouTube's ad blockers. So I
Yeah,
have to try and bounce around and then yeah, send me a direct link to the channel because I know there's ATP. I'm subscribed to that. I don't know if like does A&M podcast have its own separate channel or is that just
yeah, yeah. We
okay?
also
Send
have
me a
a
link to that so I can like it and subscribe to on my political channel.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we also too have a podcast version too on Apple and Spotify. So we everywhere, man.
Yeah,
Mike,
I've got a SoundCloud
yeah,
account that I am not able to post on because I don't have the paid membership. But
yeah,
if or when I'm ever able to, I will be posting on that as well.
yeah. All right. I'll send you the links and stuff. And send me your resume when you get a chance so I can
Will do.
fast track it. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching the A&M podcast. All right, Mike. See you next week, man.
Good night and good luck.
Yes, sir.